When I first started getting into personal development 6 or 7 years ago, I imagined sort of this graph where, things started off low, but then things would build and build on each other and things would get easier and easier as I would get more developed and time would pass. And quickly, very quickly, I learned that it's not at all like that. Personal development is like a roller coaster. You go through ups and downs, and you go through highs and struggles. And there's times where you want to move forward, but you feel like you're just hitting a brick wall over and over and over and over again. And I'm going through one of these cycles where it feels like I'm hitting my face on a brick wall over and over again. And I wanted to make sure that I'm not creating the illusion that I've got everything figured out. Because I get up here in front of the camera and I talk about all these amazing concepts and these mindsets and techniques to improve your life. And it sounds maybe like I've just got it all figured out just from like these little bits that you hear about my life. But that's not at all the case. I'm someone who really struggles. I've struggled my whole life. And it's really just part of this path. See, I feel like when I'm not learning a lesson, that lesson will smack me in the face over and over again until I learn it. And sometimes it feels like I have my foot on the brake and I'm hitting the accelerator at the same time and wondering why I'm not going anywhere. So if you're someone who's going through these struggles where it feels like, okay, tomorrow's the day I start this new habit, or I start creating my dream career, or I start creating, relationships and I start acting on my fears, and then tomorrow comes and nothing changes. I want you to know that that is normal. I want you to know you're not alone. I do the same thing. And I can see that a lot of you are extremely committed to this path of personal development, this path of spiritual growth, because you see the potential in this and you're not going to let anything stop you. But at the same time, it's so hard to act in that moment. It's so hard to overcome years or decades of patterns and conditioning. And ultimately, the solution is becoming more conscious of your patterns and conditioning. One pattern that I'm becoming aware of is that every time I feel, or every time I think about my life and my future, I feel this heaviness on my heart. And I realize that I'm afraid to waste my youth. And I put so much pressure on myself to succeed. And as a result, I'm afraid to fail. So there's this cocktail of fear and pressure. And every time I feel that, I start to overthink. That overthinking gives me a false sense of control. And then I distract myself. Whether it's with video games or alcohol, marijuana, nicotine, I distract myself. Because the pain becomes so painful that I created an automatic pattern. And I created this as a child. As a child, feeling this pressure. And then turning to distractions and overthinking to gain that false sense of control. So I keep hitting my head on this brick wall of this pattern over and over and over again. And it becomes so painful. But the thing is about the pain is it pushes you to change. I've gotten so frustrated over the last month or so with my life, with repeating these patterns over and over again, that I thought to myself, I have to figure this out. If not now, then when? I can keep telling myself that I'll figure it out in the future, I'll take care of myself in the future, but nothing's ever going to change until I learn to do it right now. And that's a lot easier said than done. And You can probably hear the frustration in my voice. One of the reasons I'm making this video is because I'm noticing that it's scary for me to be vulnerable about this kind of stuff. I want to help people on YouTube, and part of me feels like since I struggle so much that I can't help people, that I don't even have my own shit figured out. How am I supposed to help other people? And I also understand that's just a story. Because you don't have to have absolutely everything figured out to help other people. That's just a story created by fear to limit you, and to limit me. So if you're somebody out there who wants to help other people, and you feel like you haven't got it all figured out, that's okay. Take baby steps. One step at a time is all it takes. And if you're someone that's in a really downward spiral right now, or you're in the bottom of a cycle, know that life unfolds in cycles. Know that we do go through these highs and lows very naturally. And darkness has its teachings too. As a spiritual teacher, I often talk about how everything is love, and if you just realize that it's all love and it's all perfection in the present moment, then everything's good. But that's only one side of the story. That's only the truth. But the truth is, we're also caught up in delusions in our mind. We're caught up in this egoic construction that we built, and it feels all too real. So although the ultimate solution is to become present, we must also acknowledge where we're at so that we can understand our dysfunction. When we start to understand where we are losing control in our lives, where we have dysfunctional patterns, we can then, from that conscious place, choose to make a different choice, even though it doesn't feel natural. Because every time that you break a pattern, you have to do what feels unnatural. The reason these patterns continue is because, we have some kind of trigger, and then we do the habit, and then we get some sort of reward. Whether it's, in my case, a distraction from that negative emotion, from those scary thoughts that I'm overthinking about. But the very unnatural thing to do is to face them head on. It feels uncomfortable. That's why change is always uncomfortable. Because we have to break through the conditioning of our mind, the patterns we've created in our past and done over and over and over again. And ultimately, until you face that head on, it's going to keep smacking you in the face, just like it's doing to me. So that's really it. I know I haven't been making a lot of videos lately, and that's mostly what I'm talking about here with these struggles. Because I know I want to be making videos. I know what to talk about. Yet I just distract myself. I get caught in these old patterns. But going through the cycle has taught me exactly how I'm doing that. I've become conscious of how I'm sabotaging myself. And that ultimately gives me the power to overcome that pattern and create a conscious pattern. So, yeah, that's it. I got a new camera. Let me know if you like the set, if you like the film quality. Yeah, that's it. I love you guys. I appreciate you for watching, and you have a beautiful day.